Andy and I first met just over 20 years ago, I think it was.
20 years?
Yeah.
Well, Colin was one of the students when I was squadron boss down at RAF Chivenot, wasn't it? Where
That's
we were
right.
doing the weapons instruction.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely dreadful. No, he wasn't. He was a very good student, a model student. Okay, so I know that in here is an aircraft that is definitely a possibility.
Okay.
See what you think.
All right.
De Havilland Dragon.
That's a beauty, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it stunning?
Lovely. Oh, it's
Have a
really
look.
lovely, yeah.
Come us through around this side. The age of the aircraft is absolutely perfect because it fits right in with the time span we're looking at.
After the armistice, the Royal Air Force began to survey the routes of the future, and many notable flights were made.
Go for just over 2 hours, I'm just trying to work it out.
How many?
13 gallons an hour.
Yeah.
And it holds.
Doing this trip will bring Andy and I back kind of together in what we were doing in our RAF days when we first got to know each other.
It's not too dissimilar to the Chipmunk, actually. We had to look down to the weight at the wings and
Yes,
work out how much fuel you got left.
Yeah.
Everything was done on a map and a stopwatch, albeit it was, you were travelling at 7 miles a minute, whereas we're probably only going to be travelling at 1 mile a minute.
Have you seen this, look? And there's an RPM gauge here, Col, on the top of the engine.
This will be your fuel.
Yeah. Fuel gauge there.
We need to be realistic about being able to achieve the flight in the first place, so the aircraft has to be robust.
Some of the aircraft they flew were out of date. Some of them were considered downright dangerous. And I think what we're going to have to do is use an aircraft with character, but something that's a little bit more modern. Do you want to look inside?
Yeah, let's have a look, yeah. Oh, these things are always such a squeeze to get into.
Need to lose a bit of weight then.
You're not wrong there.
The stick's really light.
No, isn't it? Just, yeah.
Really light. And what's this flying on one engine?
65 to 90. Hopefully I won't be doing any of that.
No. Seen the windows here as well. This is your air conditioning.
That's my aircon, is it?
That's your air
brilliant.
conditioning.
No, I think we could do it. I think this is ideal.
Yeah.
It was the individual pioneer who largely inspired the development of air transport as we know it today, and a great tribute should be paid to their courage and imagination.
Well, the route was proved by a guy called Alan Cobham. He was tasked with surveying the route down to Cape Town.
I mean, he was a real pioneer along the lines of some of the great explorers who've forged paths around the world.
Oh, right, yeah. Looks pretty tidy, doesn't it?
Yeah. But smell it though, it's
I know.
a beautiful smell.
I mean, I can't conceive of that just launching off into the unknown. I mean, his achievement was phenomenal. So much so that I believe when he got back to London, he was ordered to Buckingham Palace and they gave him the Air Force Cross.
I don't know about you, but I must admit I'm not very mechanically minded. Even though I fly an airplane,
Yes, yeah.
we've got people to do those
People
sort
to
of
do
jobs.
The fact that we're quite experienced, airline pilots and military pilots, but still find that sort of thing a challenge, just shows, how good these guys were back in those days.
There'll be a fuel primer and all that sort of stuff in there as well, won't there?
We might have to take an engineer.
I think we'll have to take an engineer.
Well, I hope what we can find as well en route is signs that Imperial Airways was there, whether it's a building or
5-star hotels.
5-star hotels.
Each passenger is shown his room and handed a card, giving the time of tomorrow's departure, the places at which stops will be made for meals, and all other details of the day's flight.
I mean, the passengers away were just as adventurous as the crew. To get on board an aircraft like this and 10 days later to pitch up in Cape Town, as a passenger, that was quite an adventure.
Okay, what I've got here, Colin, is the Imperial Airways Pilot's Handbook and General Instructions, 1924.
It is inadvisable to land here except in cases of absolute necessity. Walking about the ground is absolutely forbidden except in the case of force majeure. So the map of the world, if you like, has changed and the political situation has changed a lot since those days. We're going to encounter some dodgy areas that we have to maybe skirt around.
We're going to be able to see so much, and the views are going to be spectacular.
It'll be a lot bumpier, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be
Particularly going
bumpy.
over Africa in the
Yeah.
heat. And also a lot noisier.
Bumpy, noisy,
Bumpy,
hot,
noisy, hot.
humid probably.
But the views will be
Views
worth
will be
it.
amazing.
But you know what? I think it'll do the
I
job.
think that's exactly what we're looking for, really. I think.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Exactly what we're looking for.
Hopefully the owners of the same view.
All clear.
Being a pilot is the best job in the world as far as I'm concerned, because it's a desire to fly. It's not a job, it's a vocation. It's something that's in the blood.
Most of us are used to flying as a passenger and looking out the window and enjoying the view, and funnily enough, that is what I still really enjoy doing.
Well, pilots are pilots throughout the world. There's a kinship in the aviation world, and that also transcends the ages.
So in a way, this trip that we hope to do will kind of satisfy that craving to see different parts of the world from a completely different perspective.
I regularly fly down to Cape Town. It's a long flight, it's a 10-hour flight, and I'm looking down on all these places that the old Imperial Airways aircraft used to land. It would have taken them days, and the only way to experience what they experienced is by going and doing it.